Viewing this team in talking season, just going through the what ifs and the who are they of the team. And we're already 5 games in. We're 4-1. Still alive, very much so. A lot to play for still. Yet we haven't played a complete football game yet. We still have areas of the team that are growing, learning, figuring things out. In some cases deficient, but you're winning football games. And here we are with this massive opportunity versus the Missouri Tigers, who themselves have not been playing the best football, at least up to their standards, what they set for themselves going into the year. Many called them a playoff contender. They were a preseason top 12 team, top 10 team, something like that. A lot of really good players coming back, but they have also yet to gain their footing. So you find yourself with this huge opportunity, man. We're feeling good after an Arkansas win. But does anybody feel like we have solidified what we are yet? Does anybody feel like we've really learned everything there is to learn about a team? I know a lot of teams are probably still in this, figuring yourself out era of a season. But for A&M, there's just so much to continue to unpack and grow week to week, being that it's a year one staff, new philosophies across the board, being that you haven't played that complete game, being that you have a new quarterback at the helm, someone you didn't expect in a situation that you did not expect. Connor Wigman got all the reps in camp. It wasn't Marcel Reed running with the ones when you were getting your first look through spring and summer camp going into the season. Sudden change there. And you're still a work in progress, but you've stayed alive. I want to talk about that in a second, but I just want to thank you guys for being here. Don't forget, this is a call-in show. The call-in link is pinned in the chat. Once I go through this opening spiel, we're going to get right into the calls. I'll catch up with you guys in the chat in a second, then we'll get into the calls. So if you guys want to call in, chime in on where you're at with the Aggies so far in the season, click that link, you'll enter the waiting room, and I'll pull you guys in one by one. We're doing them right away, so get in there if you want to call in tonight. And if not, we'll call it a short show, no problem. I want to get through a few points here, though. It seems like every game this year has been an opportunity to figure out who you are. I mean, that's with any team, but particularly under the year one Aggies, opening with Notre Dame, kind of the steady pace that is this schedule this year. Like every week has kind of been this opportunity to gather information, to kind of solidify what you're going to be as a football team. The Notre Dame game, first iteration of the new regime, the team under the new staff. We saw it wasn't a finished product by any means, especially offensively. You probably did enough defensively to win that game, but you saw they had a long ways to go on the offensive side of the ball at the quarterback position, all that stuff. But you had hints of a running game in there. You thought maybe you could build on that, having, glimpses of success versus a strong defense. Then you had the McNeese game. That was, McNeese was McNeese. We won't spend too much time on that. But you stamped in some areas you had to work on. You got some reps in. That was a positive experience, especially in that first half. Then you have that Florida game. Very much an early litmus test. Very much kind of a game that, if you performed, you'd feel pretty good about the season. And if you didn't, a lot of us called it a losable game, things would have gone south. You won it. And you kind of passed with flying colors. Of course, the defense didn't finish strong. That left us with some pause. You didn't finish the game how you had hoped. But how quickly we forget how we felt after that Florida game, right? I mean, we really felt like that was a game that we could have, not performed that well in. It was on the table. I mean, Florida showed to have not really had a pulse, but they went out and beat Auburn. That's cool, I guess. Not a great team, but we didn't know what A&M was. They got it done. Defense kind of left us still questioning some things after that next game, the Bowling Green game. They showed us we're not in a place where we can just, cruise past opponents. They showed us that we're very much not this consistent force week to week yet, and that's okay. You won the game. You figured it out. But it really kind of showed us that, Marcel Reed bust onto the scene versus Florida. But that's not something you can really rely on game to game just yet. Young quarterback, figuring things out, reading a defense, progressing through his reads, getting that processing speed up in live action, kind of just, trusting the team, trusting the plays to develop. And we've still not gotten clarity there on where it's going to go. Still a work in progress there. Back seven really, really showed us that that is indeed a new unit that has been put together for this Texas A&M football team. I've been bringing this up the last few shows because I feel like I kind of neglected this point going into the season and early in the year. But the back seven A lot of new out there, right? I mean, we've talked about it a few times now, but Marcus Radcliffe, Dalton Brooks, Des Ricks, all college sophomores. You know, Dalton Brooks and Des Ricks in their first real college action outside of that bowl game for Brooks where they're asked to play winning football down to down. That's new. Marcus Radcliffe, big jump from San Diego State. You have guys like Will Lee, new to the program. Trey Jones, new to the program. Bryce Anderson, Torrin York, learning curve, new system, new players around them. The rest of the linebacker core, Sanford, DeShields, Scooby, all relatively new. And that showed versus Bowling Green. And that's kind of where we were going into this Arkansas game, right? I think we finally saw real progress on the defensive side of the football that you can kind of hang your hat on and say, okay, we're getting somewhere here. That back seven played much better. You shut down one of the best rushing attacks in the country. You shut it down. Now, you gave up a little bit in the air, but you really bottled it up after that first touchdown, giving up only 3 points after that initial 14. That's a pretty good offense over there in Arkansas. I would not be surprised if that team catches a few other teams left on their pretty daunting schedule. I think the secondary really found kind of a rotation that works, and people really came into their own in that game, especially at the corner position. Best cornerback game we've probably seen in Aggie land since Jalen Jones was around a couple of years ago. I mean, Des Ricks, man, he won Defensive Player of the Week for the team's self-appointed award system they're doing week to week. Starting to come on, man. Started the game, played a majority of that game, just in the nick of time, too, because he got Luther Burden and a really good trio of receivers over at Mizzou coming to town the next week. It's really good that Des Ricks is coming on right now. And Will Lee, he's really starting to look like that NFL prospect that many were calling him going into the year. Really good timing. At safety, Dalton Brooks finally got a full game. That's something he couldn't stay on the field because of targeting early in the year. And you finally saw what he can do. Led the team in tackles, impacted the running game. He had 2 tackles for loss. You didn't give up much deep because of the safeties outside of that initial play. And credit to Taylor Green on that play. I was talking about that play earlier today online. And yeah, I know we're pointing at Jaden Hill for kind of, getting burned on that play. But that was single high safety, man coverage, and the quarterback extended the play. The receiver broke off his route, vertical, and, Jaden Hill just wasn't there to defend it, and he had no safety help there. And now, I don't know enough to say whether that safety should have been there, but regardless, you got to tip your hat to Taylor Green on that play, sustaining that pressure. The D-line had hands on him. He didn't go down, and that play got extended. But outside of that, safeties, DBs, corners, maybe you're still working through some stuff at nickel. BJ Mays is coming on a little bit. I don't think Hill was that bad outside of that play this game. I think you really got something cooking in that secondary. And, of course, the D-line did its thing, man. I mean, Scorton, I saw someone call him a one-man defense. Yeah, he might be. But you also have Shamar Turner, and Albert Regis looking like a track star out there for a defensive tackle. I mean, what the hell? How can that guy move so fast? He was chasing down Taylor Green. I should have pulled that play up and highlighted it in one of my other shows. Albert Regis has some wheels. It's kind of scary. This defensive line is really scary, man. Now, I don't know what Missouri's going to do to attack us. Missouri's not had a lot of success with explosive plays this year. They've kind of been like a steady heartbeat running team so far. Pretty good in the short passing game. Pretty bad in the red zone, surprisingly. We'll see how this defense carries over, man. Can they build on that performance? Because Missouri definitely has the cats, the players, to make you pay. Though they haven't really put it together just yet. They have that potential. But it's really good timing for this defense to start coming on, man. Really, really good timing with Missouri coming up. Then you get your bye, and I think a couple players really need a bye week. I think Bryce Anderson probably needs a bye week. Sounds like Shamar Stewart probably needs a bye week. He's been knocked out, at times each game. I think some of the O-line could really use a bye week. Who knows if TJ Shanahan will be back pretty soon. We'll get that injury report. Very revealing report coming out this Wednesday. Connor Wigman, didn't sound like he's been practicing. Didn't sound like he was warming up. Not really throwing a lot. I'd be surprised if he plays this week. I'd be willing to give him a look, but he has to be 100%. Sounds like it's Marcel Reed once again. Talking about this offense and where we are there now, we still know we have a strong running attack. And make no mistake, Arkansas is a really good run-stuffing defense. That's been the strength of their defense the whole year. And in that game, they shut it down for a couple quarters, but when you needed it the most, it came on. But you still need to figure out that passing game. Marcel Reed, as we talked about, as we know, still figuring things out. He's learning, he's building, but he needs to find consistency throwing the football, man. Going through his reads, just being accurate. A couple of bad footwork plays by Marcel, a couple of rushed plays by Marcel when he didn't really need to. You know, the passing game needs some work, but I still do like how Noah Thomas is coming on, man. Finally getting that wide receiver one look about him over the last couple of weeks. Becoming that go-to guy, that kind of safety valve, that guy that's always kind of getting open, that's there for you. Marcel needs to trust it, man. Progress and improve. But guys, can this game be the one the offense puts it all together? Because I personally, and a lot of other people, but some aren't, but me personally, I was not high on this Missouri defense going into the year. I think they lost 8 starters, several rotational guys. They have some good players back. They're doing well statistically so far on the year, but keep in mind, they've played 4 games, 2 of which were against Murray State and Buffalo. And then they played 2 decent teams in Boston College and Vandy. So yeah, those numbers are going to look pretty damn good, all 4 games being at home. Could this be a game where the offense finds some life passing the football? I think there's a path for it, man. As long as that running game can pick up right where they left off at the end of that Arkansas game, which I think is really, really important, man, because you weren't great the whole game, but I don't know what clicked. I don't know if the offensive line just, started executing better, and execute me for saying that word, but it's real. Early in the game, you were seeing, single busts, blow up running plays. We were having trouble running left, and I know people were complaining about that. You're running at Landon Jackson, but a lot of the leakage on those plays were actually coming from the right side. Guys coming across, guys crossing face and getting into the play. They cleaned it up. Can you pick up from right where you were? Can you pick up from right there where it was like 15 minutes left in the game, start of the 4th quarter? That Aggie offense just turned it on. Can you just get your brain and your technique and everything to just pick up from that moment and bring that to the next game? Because you had some short passing success on that play too. Like to believe you can. But I'll drop a whole video about Missouri. I just kind of want to touch on them today. I still have a little bit more film work to do on them, and I'll get you guys the full story on the Missouri Tigers, probably either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll drop a video. Y'all check that out. But it's nice that we're running that corner defensively, man. The offense is just a work in progress still. It's still working along where we are 5 games into the year. But you got that big game looming, and it's a huge game for Missouri as well. I mean, you're looking at their schedule, which I think I can pull up for you guys real quick. If you look at their schedule, this game can kind of be season defining because obviously their first 4 was just abysmal. This is like the easiest SEC schedule I've ever seen. And, that has to do with a lot of programs being down like Auburn, Mississippi State. You never know what to do with Arkansas. I mean, they're the trend-breaking team. Who knows what happens here? But they beat A&M. They go into this stretch, UMass, Auburn, Bama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas, with a mulligan or 2 under their belt. They're feeling so good, especially knowing that they have not been a complete team thus far in the year. If they can get through a year 1 program in Texas A&M early in the year, when they still have at Bama looming, at South Carolina, which looks to be a difficult game for Missouri right now, OU at home, who knows what OU is by then, and then ending with this rivalry game versus Arkansas. If they beat A&M, they're feeling good. They could drop 1 or 2 of those and still, make the SEC championship, which is crazy. That's insane. It's such an easy schedule. But they lose this, the margins become a lot more thin. And as a litmus test, what does that mean about the Auburn game? I mean, the South Carolina game, the Arkansas game, the OU game. I mean, this is a game they feel like they can win. And it's kind of weird, It's kind of weird. Because this is one of those games for them, right? I feel like A&M has kind of been that huge season-altering game for several teams on the schedule. Just as a point to make, for Notre Dame, their schedule was very easy outside of A&M. Then they had Louisville and Florida State and a lot of simpler stuff. A&M on the road was always their season-defining game. They win that game, they're feeling good about their playoff chances. And they did it. Then they dropped 1. Now they're back on those thin margins, but they have that big win under their belt. For Florida, A&M was one of those early, home winnable games while their season was still alive and they still had all the belief in the world. Another game where A&M's kind of that crossroads type of a matchup. You can say the same for Arkansas, who ends their season with games versus Tennessee, Texas, bunch of other tough teams that I'm blanking on right now. I think they play Ole Miss, right? Let's just pull it up. Just, be thorough here. Why not? I can do it. Yeah, LSU, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Texas, Missouri. That Texas A&M game, if they wanted to go, kind of 500 in SEC play, they would have had 2 wins here. Then they have to win 2 more down here to really feel good about their season. They didn't do it. But A&M was once again kind of that crossroads kind of a game. And we're once again facing the same thing in Missouri. I guess we're just a stepping stone. I don't know. Are we that team? Maybe. But if you keep winning, you keep surviving, you keep improving, you can become a hell of a lot more than that. All right, guys, that's the intro spiel. That's what I wanted to get through. I kind of wanted to bring us to the present because we've seen a lot of this team. After guessing about this team a lot, year one, so much unknown, so much new, I kind of wanted to bring everything that we had learned together here with you guys now. But now it's time for you to take the floor. The call-in link is pinned in the chat. Just click that. You'll enter the waiting room. I see we have 3 people waiting right now. I'm going to go through the comments real quick, and then we'll get right into the calls. Let's see who's here with us today. I see this comment section just popping off. You guys are always great in this chat. Chris Cobb, good to see you. Jay Gwynn, good to see you. Feeling good. Can't complain. I love it, man. I'm feeling good, too. It wasn't the prettiest win, but it was gritty, and it was a win in the SEC. You're 2-0 in conference play. Chris Cobb says, Ags 28, Missouri 17. I would be on top of the world, man. Derek Jones, good to see you. I wish it was a later game. Yeah, man. I know they predetermined this 11 a.m. kickoff, and it turns out it's the only ranked versus ranked matchup of the weekend, and it's kicking off at 11, which sucks. Be there early, or at least be there on time. Get your pregame and your party and whatever you have to do before games to be at your best. Get it done before. We need a raucous Kyle Field. I'm encouraging you guys to get to this game early, because if you're on time to these noon games, you're probably late. Because everyone's entering these games at the same time. If you're in line with like 45 minutes to go before the game starts, you're pushing it. Because you know how those lines get. It'll be crazy. So get there early. I'm just encouraging you guys. Play to win. Good to see you. I see you in the waiting room. SB Hustler. Good to see you. Being a Dolphins fan sucks, says Troy. At least you have A-Chain, but I haven't checked the score. Is it not going so well right now? Sorry, man. Christopher, good to see you, man. I don't want College Game Day to come to College Station ever again. We're like 1-8 when they come here. So no. I got bad news for you, man. There's a really good chance College Game Day is in College Station for the last game of the year this year. Probably why they didn't choose to go this week, and they're going to Cal Berkeley? What? Yeah, I get it. It's not a lot of great games this weekend. They're going to be back this year, man. I have a really good feeling. I'm pretty confident in that prediction, so we're going to have to break that trend. But yeah, man, it's been a bad look for College Game Day here. We've come a long way since Notre Dame. If we can get through Saturday, we're sitting pretty, boys. Imagine getting to the bye 5-1, man. My preseason prediction was that you would have 1 loss going into Missouri. Preseason, I had us losing to Missouri and being 4-2 going into this bye, but then only dropping 1 the rest of the season. You beat Missouri, man. You have a mulligan or 2 to really hit your, what you want to feel like is a good season, which is a 9-win year. You still have 2 mulligans for that. You still have 1 mulligan to make the playoff. That feels pretty damn good for a year one. And if you make it to that bye week, just think about how much work they can get done in that week, going to the Mississippi State game, the confidence they can build, the health they can gain. It would be massive, man. But you can't get shiny object syndrome if you're on the team. They got to be focused on their job and practice and just getting better and just, chipping away. They can't be looking at this like how we are. But we're fans, so we can do whatever the hell we want. J. Paul, good to see you. Like that song? A little last resort action. Thanks for being here, J. Paul. Let's see. Michael Bruno, hope Connor's ready to go. I have a feeling he's not this week. I think for Mississippi State, that's when you'll be able to see Connor again. Let's see who else is in here. Did we start any fights in the parking lot? Like I said, my Arkansas fan cousin got into some Aggies after the game. He was a little bit lit up and a little bit angry. I was sending him some Yell leader gifts just to taunt him. I think he was feeling heated. I might have encouraged that from afar. Bruce says, great win. Not too pretty, but super gritty. That rhymed. Reed continues not making huge mistakes. That's true. Of all the things we're saying about Reed, he is not making the critical mistakes, and that is huge. Defense getting more dangerous and dominant. Ags are close to being really good. Just keep improving. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, we do have a parking garage. That's right. Did Stewart get hurt on that fumble? He did go down, but he walked off on his own power. No updates on Shamar Stewart yet. He's one of the guys I think really needs the bye week break. We'll find out on... We'll get the first report on Wednesday, play to win, and then we'll get subsequent reports Thursday and Friday. It's weird. You get 3 updates leading into the game. For instance, last week we saw Connor was questionable Wednesday. I think by the Thursday or Friday report, he was listed as out, indicating that he wasn't really practicing and he didn't even warm up for the game. So I have a feeling he's still 3 weeks out, and that would put it at the Mississippi State game. Green saw Scorton coming like a wrecking machine. What a monster he's becoming right now. And he's not doing it alone. Shamar Stewart blowing up that play, forcing the fumble. Shamar Stewart's in a lot of plays, not getting tackles, but he's just penetrating and getting in there a lot. Turner and Regis, no slouches of their own. You know, Cassius Howell is consistently one of the best players in his snaps that he gets per game. Very important role. I think Rodas Johnson is really coming on. You still get some snaps from Rylan Kennedy. Some good stuff. You're not as really digging into the bag that deep at defensive line. So I was fearful that they would get tired by the latter portion of that game. And that was such a testament to Tommy Moffitt. They were able to just keep chasing Taylon Green after they were chasing him around the whole game. I mean, bless their offensive line. They're working through some stuff, man. They're a new group together. The blitzes were really getting to him. The defensive line was getting to him. Taylon Green was running for his life, but the D-line kept up the energy. Really good conditioning for the team. It's looking really good. I know that was a complaint coming out of that Notre Dame game, maybe even that Florida game, but in this game, they really showed their conditioning. It was really cool to see. Jeb, good to see you, man. I was tempted to go to this game. Tickets are pretty cheap. It's a good game to go to. 11 a.m. kickoff. Tickets will never be as expensive for that kind of a game. Might have to think about that one. I might go. It's up in the air. If not, I'll be streaming here, but I might be at this game. If Texas beats Arkansas the same fashion we did, would they have almost been snubbed out of the AP Top 25? What a joke. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. But look, keep winning. I don't care about respect. I don't care about perception. We'll gain respect by winning games. Just win freaking games. You won't get respect with who we're interacting with online. We're interacting with LSU and Texas online, OU. They're always going to talk their shit. Don't let that bother you. Just win games and improve. We know. We know. Who else is in here? Eric, got to beat a ranked team if we want respect. And that's the opportunity this weekend. If you care about respect, this is the one you got to win. Get a constant run game, get read on some rollouts. He seems to be better throwing than. Yeah, I want to see him run more. I want to see more designed runs from him. I understood the game plan, though. They had a good front seven. Arkansas was a good run-stopping defense. They have some dogs on the defensive line. They have a really athletic linebacker core. They sold out for the run. So A&M was testing that secondary, and unfortunately, they just missed plays, again, with a young quarterback and, you know, a receiver core who I think is getting fine separation, but is inconsistent in that. Also kind of inconsistent in like some scheme and some play calls and stuff, and their assignments is what I'm really trying to say. You know, you saw a couple plays where, you know, receivers are kind of in the same place or just not turning around at the right time, not with the best timing. That's all going to come with time under a new system and with a new quarterback. Team Trevino need to contain Cook, Noel, and wide receiver number 3. Yep, and don't discount their other 2 wide receivers. They have some weapons on that offense for sure. Want to know something cool, Jay Paul says? We're in sole possession of first place in the SEC. Yes, we are. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. Offense is too vanilla. You need to pick it up for a TU game. I don't think it's vanilla. I think you're running some good play designs. You're just not connecting on them. There were several shot plays this game. There were several, you know, misdirection-based play-action plays, some screen stuff. It just wasn't working, man. It's just a young team within a system that's not letting it look like how it could. I mean, I think you started the second half with a breakaway wide-open Noah Thomas that Marcel Regis overthrew. Otherwise, that's another explosive 60-yard touchdown to Noah Thomas to start the second half. It feels different if you connect on the plays. It's easy to look at, you know, play calling when the players just aren't getting it done yet. And there's still more to come out of this Colin Klein bag as they build week to week. I'm really not pointing fingers just yet. What I do think that the play calling needs to start doing now, though, is understanding where Marcel Reed is in his trajectory and kind of molding itself more to him, more to his comfort zone that he's shown in 3 games now. And I think you have a chance to do that versus Missouri. KM says, it's been 48 years since I played the game. Therefore, I am certain I am no good judge. I do trust Mike Elko. He has not been hesitant to be critical. However, he was excited after the Arkansas game. Absolutely. And after he was pissed off after that Bowling Green game, he showed some excitement. And he also, you know, he takes ownership, man. Like, for instance, the punt fake, he took ownership of that in his presser today. Say, yeah, that's on me. I need to teach them better. that can happen with a rugby style punter, which is true. When is Wingman coming back? Wingman will probably be back by Mississippi State, if I'm guessing. I don't think we see him this week because he didn't really practice last week, didn't warm up for the game. I think if there's a chance you see him, it's going to be Mississippi State. David Franz, good to see you. Little Shy, good to see you in here. Jay Paul says, Drew, you need to do a later show sometimes, Drew After Dark, so I can call sometime and chop it up. Sorry, man. I'm trying to make this work with my schedule, and it's pretty tight margins, so I'm trying to keep these pretty short and confined from like 7:30 to 8:30. Hopefully, as my life progresses, I can extend these shows or change things up, but right now I'm working with limited time. So I'm doing the best I can, but I hear you, Jay Paul. We used to do these later. Maybe we'll go back to that in the future. Defense needs the ball out. Good to see you, John. Ron Logan, good to see you, man. Joshua Hernandez, let's go beat the hell out of Missouri. Good to see you. Who else is in here? Alex Flo, howdy y'all. Saturday going to be another team-defining game. Yes, it is. Hope so. They kept trying to pick on Lee, too. Lee was getting physical and chippy out there. I loved it. I loved it, man. Will Lee stepping up. Andrew Armstrong's a good freaking receiver, man. He got his plays, but Will Lee also got to him, too. And so did Des Ricks, man. That's a good receiver. That's almost as good a possession receiver as you'll see all year. You know, I think Luther Burden's probably more explosive and can do more stuff after the catch. But as far as a catching guy, a big frame, Andrew Armstrong's one of them. Who else is in here? Harambe Knights. Mond, a good quarterback. Must have been a different Mond than the one I watched for 4 years. Mond was a solid senior quarterback. He wasn't a game breaker. He wasn't a game changer. But, shit, I'd take a Kellen Mond this year. I'd take that kind of a year this year. Mond was good. He was mid at best. Look, whatever he was his senior year was good enough. That's what I'll say. SEC Nation is indeed coming to College Station, Alex Flo. Yes, they are. Paul Feinbaum will be there. Let's go boo their shit out of. I'm just kidding. It's easy to hate on Paul Feinbaum because he does stuff to make himself hateable, to make himself more of a presence. That's what he does. That's his brand. We'll be there for Paul. We'll give Paul what he needs. We're running inside zone too much, it seems. We're still running more gap scheme than zone. We're still more of a gap scheme heavy running team. Look, man, you're hanging your hat on the run here. That's your best offensive weapon. You're going to run inside runs. It's going to happen. You don't have a passing game clicking yet. And the running game has been there this year. That's why on those second and longs, you saw just some, boring-ish plays, inside runs, because they've been working on the year. Credit Arkansas's defense for kind of shutting that down. But you found it late in the game, man. I mean, you trust this running attack to get you in third and manageable on second and long situations because they've been doing it all year. That's what you're hanging your hat on right now. But I get that it's boring, and I get that you want to see some more flashy stuff. It's just the team isn't there yet, man. You think Klein was a horrible hire? I disagree, but, we got to see what the body of work looks like. I'm not going to make any kind of judgments on any coaching hire in the first year, really. It takes a couple of years for you to figure that out. Who else is in here? I think we got through everybody. David Franz. Space Jesus. I'm not high on Missouri at all. They're propped up by a good record in preseason rankings. Yes, they are. Not saying we need to overlook them, but there's a reason why the line is favoring us. Yes, that is true. But they also have that potential, right? I mean, they have those weapons that showed it last year. They're just not clicking yet. So any game they could break out, but they haven't gained their footing yet. That's for sure. Reed is too thin. Can't take a lot of punishment. That's true. He is very thin. I get that's probably why they're not running him as much. Maybe he can slide. Maybe he can be more protective, but he doesn't really do that too much. We'll see, man. You got to use his legs, I think. You got to find out how to do it and keep him safe. Vandy should have beaten Missouri. Just think what are the Aggies can do this weekend at Kyle. Hopefully, but they still have that. They have that potential. Missouri is a lot better than Arkansas. We are screwed. Are they a lot better than Arkansas, man? They're not playing a lot better than Arkansas right now. They have not been playing a lot better than Arkansas has been playing. They have not. They just went through an overtime battle with Vandy. Boston College had some success against them. They're very much a work in progress too, man. So, no, they're not really playing that much better than Arkansas has been up to this point in the year. Now, they have a much higher ceiling than Arkansas, that's for sure. But playing? No. Who else is in here real quick? Troy Ellison's back. Jackson in here. Good to see you, Jackson. Hans in here. With how much Missouri struggled against running quarterbacks, do we see some Henderson reps? I don't think we see Henderson reps, but I think we run Reed more. Ron Logan, can we quit talking trash about Texas until we can at least beat them? Texas freaking sucks, Ron. Texas sucks butt. Texas is trash. Arch Manning sucks. Your defense is overrated. Get out of here, Ron. Saw him off, baby. Saw him off. Absolutely. Saw him off. Duke Pastrami, good to see you, man. Who else is in here? Don't fall for Ron. He's a troll. I know. We've seen him in here before. Ron's fun. We love the trolls. We love the trolls. Ron lacks a father figure. We're his daddy. I'm Ron's daddy. All right, let's get to the calls here. Play to win. You're on with Drew. I love that sweatshirt, man. Where'd you get that one?
A guy named Bryce Anderson sent it through his uncle Ryan. It was really nice.
Nice, man. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it real quick so that people can see the beautiful Aggie brand right there. That's awesome, man. Well,
Aggie brand Adidas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you feeling? How you feeling?
This isn't Academy. This is the real deal.
That's official.
It's official. Yeah, it's from Bryce Anderson, so that makes it official.
That's nice looking, man. How you feeling? Play to win.
Man, I'm feeling great, and I'll tell you that Arkansas win. I said, golly, 12 out of 13 seasons we've beaten these guys, and I thought our number was up, and we might have a chance to lose, and it came close, but our offense kept us in. It was pretty consistent. We didn't score in the third quarter, but we scored a touchdown first quarter, second, and then fourth to top it off. It was a 21-17 win. So I think we were, playing a little weak on offense, but man, our defense came in like titans.
They did.
They were, and I'm the one that said about Scorton,
yeah,
the one-man defense.
Yes. He's playing like it.
Yes, Torian York. These guys are, just over and above, my expectations.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize what a great unit they are. And what do you expect? Elko was a defensive coordinator. Well, golly, look what we're fielding right now.
Absolutely.
We're fielding a great defense. And one of the keys to the game I was just looking at is very simple: turnovers.
Yeah.
And we were 0. They were 3. They gave us 3 extra chances to score, and that's what we did. We took advantage.
Absolutely.
So that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Look at Jalen Green. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's just kind of been what A&M's been doing. Of all the offensive woes or whatever the problems have been, you haven't been turning the ball over, knocking on wood here. And Arkansas was, and that's kind of when I was making my score prediction for the game. That was my final defining point. I thought A&M was just not making the critical mistakes, inconsistent, but just not making game-altering mistakes. And I just thought A&M was better in the trenches, and it showed that offensive line versus their defensive line was probably a lot closer than I initially thought. But A&M's offensive line shone through at the end, and clearly A&M's defensive line outmatched their offensive line. So the keys to the game kind of came true.
Yes. So they came through at the critical time. We needed a touchdown. We got a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed. And they scored Arkansas 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They came up short, and Coach Elko made a good point. Yeah, we were kind of a little bit lackluster on offense, a little bit, or the way he put it was perfect. And I said, yeah, we kind of messed up, but we did enough to win.
Right.
We do some messing up. Some of those personal fouls at the end of the game, man, was just uncalled for. I said, man, come on, Aggies. We were better than that.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff happened, and I was like, come on. But they get excited. They're kids, and they, the adrenaline's pumping. And, it's just like Missouri coming in Friday night. The Missouri offense is going to be in their beds, and they're thinking, man, we got to go to Kyle Field and play the Aggies. They might be in their beds, but, that doesn't mean they're sleeping.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. I know, man. This defense is becoming that defense that strikes fear into the hearts of offenses. It's not there yet. It needs to find consistency, but what their trajectory is showing is that they're getting there right now. Just in the nick of time.
In just the nick of time. And I guarantee you some of that Missouri offense, not all of them, man, they're up thinking about it instead of sleeping.
I know, man.
They're probably a little apprehensive. They're a little anxious, but I think all in all that we're going to come out on top. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a score. I think this is what we can do. I think it's going to be 28-17.
Okay, nice.
28-17. We score 4 touchdowns this time. And I think Reed is going to be he's probably going to have his best game because they know how big this is. Arkansas was big. Well, Missouri's big because they're ranked 9th in the country.
Yeah, huge opportunity.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, unfortunately, Connor's not going to be back. That AC joint injury, just people don't realize. I mean, it's a nagging type of injury. He even takes an injection, and Elko decided to go with Reed that game. I think Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one that Connor tried to go. They injected, and it just wasn't responding how they
Yeah,
had hoped.
did the injection didn't work. So okay, we're going with Reed, and it Reed paid off because he does have that one more dimension that Connor lacks, and that's the rush ability just to get up the field if necessary. All the reads, I'm gone. I got to go. Choom, take off, and get you about 10, 15, 20 yards.
Yes.
He has that ability. Connor, he's more of a pocket quarterback. He leans more that way. He can take off and run because it's wide open. And if he can get out there, he might give you 40, 50 yards.
Yeah.
But he's got to get over that injury. And the AC joint, man, it's one of the worst in the world, man. It just doesn't. It don't go away in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And like you said, probably gonna be Mississippi State.
Yep. That gives him 3 weeks from this last game. It's a long rest. I mean, that's just rest and recovery there, and it's the throwing arm. So, yeah, he can't push it. And really, he probably could go out there, but he wouldn't be 100%. And it's just not worth playing him. It's just not worth putting him out there in that condition.
No, it's not. The odds are bad. It's too soon. And I'm with Coach Elko. If he decides to go with Reed, I'm behind Coach Elko. 100%.
Me too.
If he goes with Connor, then he said, "Hey man, my boy's ready to go. Let's get him out there." And I'm behind him 100%. And it's a lot of these guys that call in and chat. Noble guy, he's great. A lot of the other ones, I can't think of their names right now, but it's fun to listen to them. They got a lot better. I mean, I'm critiquing like outside the details.
Yeah.
I'm just going with more it's kind of more of a just an outside looking in.
Yeah.
With a few players I can think of, and I'm sorry what happened to Bryce. They used him sparingly and probably for good cause because Coach Elko knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play Bryce. I'll play him sparingly in some certain situations. In the cornerback, I have him out, instead of the nickel where he used to be.
Yeah.
And do what I got to do with him. But, man, we got some other greats too. I mean, they're starting to show. We're starting to gel as a team better. And I think at the right time because we got to play number 9 in the nation, man. And that says it all. We've got to be ready.
Absolutely.
Colin is going to be ready. Colin, they're looking at film. They're making notes. They're like, how can we beat Missouri? How do we beat their defense? And he'll come up with something. It was kind of like he was doing the same thing over and over. It was like Groundhog Day. Okay, run right. Okay, run right. Okay, run right. It's not working.
Yeah.
But there was something, a thought I had, and I forgot what it was, is why he keeps doing the same thing over and over. I don't know if it's to probe the defense, say we're weak, or they weak on the right, weak on the left, or weak through the center. The old Redskin 50 gut. Just go from it.
Yeah.
And whatever they call that play. But Colin will figure it out, and Coach Elko will figure it out, and they'll probably have some input on the offensive scheme and the plays we're going to call. But I sure like to see some more screens.
Yeah, ran a couple. They ran a couple. Neither worked. They ran the one. I think it was like 3rd and forever. They ran. They were I think 5 wide. They ran a screen to Noah, and then there's another play where they kind of did like a throwback screen, and the offensive line was in position, but there was just no ball catcher. So we got called for the intentional grounding because I think one of the receivers just didn't run to where they were supposed to, and you had no option to pass the ball to him. Everything else in the play was executed great. You had blockers in place, missed assignment, and we're seeing quite a bit of that. And with the running game, I'm going to keep saying it. They're hanging their hat on what's been working for this offense and what they're confident in, and that's running the football. And, it just wasn't working for times in this game, and I understand because the pass wasn't working too. So they had to find something, and sometimes your kids just don't get it done. But I'll keep going back to they finally found it in the 4th quarter. They ran the ball. They passed the ball in the short game, and they just found it. So they just got to harness whatever they found in that 4th quarter. And I don't know if it was being the fresher team or just finally getting it together, whatever it was. Go back to that.
Yeah, and everybody knows, and everybody in chat knows me. We know what you got to do. You got to establish the run.
Yeah.
So you can open the passing lanes.
Especially this team.
Yes. and it'll be our biggest test yet.
Absolutely.
We're gonna do well. I think we're gonna win at 28-17. I think we'll hold them 17 points. Our defense is just. I'll tell you what, man. They give me nightmares. They keep me up at night.
I know. Taylor Green's going to be having flashbacks, man. Well, all right, Play to Win. I appreciate the call, man. We're going to get through them here because I got to get out of here pretty quickly. But I appreciate the call, man. And I wrote your score prediction down, so you're entered.
Okay, buddy.
Have a good night. All right, that was Play to Win. Real quick, David, again, running left wasn't working, and I rewatched all those plays. A lot of those busts were coming from leakage off the right side, surprisingly, on the left side runs. I mean, I remember one of those plays, Dewberry came in and smashed. Dewberry got his face crossed a couple times, and those left runs got smashed. Basantis had a rough first half. He picked it up in the second half of the game. He was getting beat on some of those left side runs, too. But they're running left because that's where you have Zune and Basantis, clearly your best two offensive linemen. So they were running into issues there, but they figured it out late. So, yeah. Running right was doing well at times. It was just an inconsistent running game for the middle portion of that game, but they eventually figured it out. Just got to pick it up from there. All right, Rich, you're on with Drew. How you feeling tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Not too bad, man. Just ready for the next big one.
Yeah, me too. I think, honestly, that Arkansas game was kind of what I needed in terms of, like, my thoughts of the team and like our potential. Not to say we played up to it, but a lot of just who we are and what we need. And it was good. I mean, obviously we're sitting 4-1, 2-0 in the SEC, but things are about to get real.
Yeah.
Probably the weakest top 10 team, out there. Not to say they're a weak team, but it obviously Vegas agrees with it, but
I would say that's accurate right now. I mean, they're still off the heels of a preseason ranking in a previous season and expectations. They haven't played like a top 10 team at all.
No, I mean, they haven't played anybody, and to be fair, like we played down to people too.
True.
But I think Cook's great. I think he's very dangerous. Obviously, Burden's dangerous. I think what we learned in the Arkansas game, and I will grow still. However, I think we've realized we are Tyreek Chappelle away from a total shutdown defense.
Oh, I know.
It's hard, and you got to think forward. I get it. It's promising. I know we talked about Bussy maybe playing nickel, but honestly, I forgot about Mays, and I'm kind of excited to see him get more snaps.
Yeah, he looked pretty good, and he's done well in his limited snaps. And I'll say this about Hill. It's been a rough season. I thought outside of that huge explosive that we gave up early in the game, I thought Hill was fine in the game. I thought he was decent in run support. Of course, he had those two untouched blitzes where he got to the quarterback. You still have some level of anxiety with the nickel position, but it's good that you have a second option kind of emerging in BJ Mays, and you can kind of just, if things aren't going right, you can throw him in there. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is. And it's not a bash on Hill. I don't think he's like a huge hole. I just think the Tyreek Chappelle upside was so great. And
yeah, for sure.
BJ Mays, I think I'm just more excited because I don't know his upside.
Yeah.
But just seeing guys like Ratcliffe come in and just I mean, talk about like SEC ready. I mean, he is banging on the runs. Like he's not holding back. I mean, I just couldn't be more happy with with him back there.
Yeah, and Brooks finally put a full game together, and I thought he looked just as good, man. I thought he was impacting that run game. He takes good angles, and he's really strong off of his blocks, which is something that we kind of were lackluster in versus Bowling Green. And he's the kind of guy that, he brings some of that similar stuff that you're talking about with Radcliffe, and it's really nice to see that coming together.
Yeah, Dalton, bro, he's a tough guy too. I mean, those are two bad dudes, and they're young. So that's really exciting. Yeah, I think, so going on defense, it's like, yeah, I think it looks great. I think what we need is consistency. Scorton got his game. Stewart's coming, getting his, I think, honestly, I think I want to see a little more out of York, maybe stats wise, even like just looking at the no huddle video. It's like, yeah, I just want to see him more. I want to see him produce more. I think that could help. Not that he's lost. It's hard to knock him from, not being a coach and just seeing like, I don't know what he's doing wrong, but he just doesn't seem to be the guy at the play like we saw last year, like first one there.
Yeah, man, it's tough because if he takes one bad step, he doesn't have the athleticism to get himself into plays. So he really has to be super textbook out there. And you're getting better linebacker play from your Wills, definitely. That's improving a lot. Sanford, DeShield, Scooby, I think they're all playing really well. But yeah, York's just not a guy that's really getting his name called a lot, right? You're not seeing him making impact plays. He has some textbook stuff between the tackles quite often, just like what a middle linebacker does, just kind of get a bunch of assisted tackles on a game. But you're not seeing him make these impact plays. And, he brings utility in his own right, right? I mean, he gets players aligned. He's making calls out there. He's pretty textbook on the inside stuff. But outside contain, or if he makes a bad step, it can be punishing. It really can. I noticed a lot of times when outside contain was broken on his side and Hill and Ricks are the DBs on that side, that's when we're kind of getting in some of the trouble in the open field stuff. Because as good as Ricks is trending right now, his play recognition, his processing speed, he's still working on all that, being that he's so young, really in his first college action. Now, coverage-wise, he's doing great, just strictly in coverage. But that side of the field, whenever it's aligned like that, that gets a little bit – it's a little nerve-wracking right now as far as just the defense as a whole, where everything's kind of clicking right now. That's still an area I saw a couple times in the game.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. And you know what you said about, I mean, just a guy like Scooby Williams just coming in and even all three of them, I'm seeing them. I'm seeing them make plays. I'm seeing them be intelligent in terms of their reads and
Yes.
hitting hard. And so that's, it's the yin and the yang, and it's not even against York. It could be kind of like a Scorton type deal where, hey, the stats aren't there, but as a team might know more of that. No, he's
True.
doing what he needs to do. I don't know enough on that, but so I can't bash him too much on that. And yeah, and in terms of who we are, I think teams are they know who Will Lee is now. And I think to your point, I think we're gonna have to let them hopefully know who Des Ricks is and whoever plays that other side, because they might be targeting that other side a little more, knowing how well Will Lee's playing. And so, yeah.
Yeah, here's something to bring up while I have you real quick, and I haven't really brought up yet on the show, is that Luther Burden typically lines up at the slot position, meaning that it's going to be Hill or Mays probably most often lined up on him. Now, I wonder if they'll do some match where, you force Will Lee to stay on Burden. I don't know how they're going to handle that. That could be a little bit troubling. We'll see. We'll have to see how they handle that.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup for us because it's kind of our shakiest defensive position against a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, man.
Switching to offense, I've always been big on Moss. I think it's even back to his highlight reel. I just like how he ran. I know we talked about last, Florida game. He's just coming together, and I mean, he's just showing it. He's an absolute. So he only took half the snaps at back. He had, Daniel with sharing with Daniels and Smith, and he's just putting up numbers. He's a workhorse, but
For sure.
In terms of the offense as a whole, there is this, we are winning. But there's still this uneasiness that there's still a gear missing.
Yeah.
And when I watch the no huddle, my observation, what I think is kind of the reasoning behind people are kind of starting to think again, I've always been on the train, even after Florida, hey, I want to see Wegman in that pocket too. I think our offensive line just played great, and they have been playing great. But we are getting, what I noticed is we are getting such great pockets on the pass block. Not only is our offensive line picking up, but I looked at Daniels, I saw Smith even on a play. They are hungry to block. They are protecting the quarterback so well that I think one knack on Reed is just he is not that pocket gunslinger. And I really think with how well our offensive line is pass blocking, honestly, I know we're running the shit out of the ball, but I think our pass blocking is better than our run blocking. And that's that might be an unpopular opinion, but we are getting protection that I think I really hope Connor can get well. I'm not afraid of going with Reed, but I think our biggest upside, like you said a couple weeks ago, is with Wegman. And with these pockets that we're forming and the way Moss is running, the way we're run blocking too, I
Yeah.
don't know if the scramble for Reed is totally what we need, even though it is exciting. It is getting us wins and everything, but I just might be unpopular, but I just with the pockets we're getting, if we can have Wegmans sling that thing, I think we start to see 350-yard passing games.
I actually really strongly agree with you right now. I think the running attack with Moss, Daniels, and if Reed's out, you maybe get more EJ Smith involved. I think it's plenty right now, given that your deficiency is just in that pocket passing and just finding open receivers. I mean, they could build off of a lot more stuff if you're hitting some of these open receivers that we're seeing in games. Not consistently, but at times, Reed's just missing guys. And Reed's not standing firm in the pocket like you're saying. And I'm seeing exactly what you're seeing with the running back protection. But it seems like even when a linebacker's coming screaming at that running back, Reed's treating it as if he's not going to get protection. He's kind of locking in or kind of just getting happy feet back there, kind of rushing a little bit, just not super comfortable back there yet. And of course, that can build week to week. He's so young. But I think a guy like Connor can really play ball with that, especially with the pockets you're getting. And I think receivers are getting better every game. And I think you open up that passing game, your running back running attack is going to get even stronger. And you know what? I know Connor's not the runner that Reed is, but Connor can scramble for a first down when you need it. I mean, if you want to keep that scramble game alive, it's not like Connor doesn't give you anything there. Connor, if they vacate the middle of that field, if they lose contain on the quarterback, Connor can still make you pay, at least getting like a 3rd and 6 done for you. He can do that for sure. So yes, I'm on board. If you get 100% Connor and Reed hasn't figured things out to a high level, you go with the guy that got you here. You go with the guy that won the job through thousands of reps through spring and fall camp. And I think you still go there, but it's just I don't know if he's 100%. I just don't know if it's there yet. I don't know when it'll be there. And I still maintain the right to say if Reed puts it together, he can still win the job, I think.
Yeah, I do too. I think he is a little trigger happy with his feet because he's so talented. I mean, his running is amazing, but you play a good defense like Missouri, like Arkansas. If you shut down his ability to scramble, you're shutting down 3/4 of our offense.
For sure.
And now we're in a pickle where if you're pass blocking great, and you have Moss just running up people's throats,
Yeah.
That's hard to stop because now it's like, oh, the only way to stop it is we got to get past the O-line, and we're not doing that. And then now the game's won in the trenches where, to stop a scramble, we play, especially, I mean, I feel like I'm knacking on Reed. It's like we're 4-1, but like,
Yeah.
Anthony Hill will just eat Reed alive if we stay with this type of offense, just being realistic. Like, those reading type linebackers, they're just going to just hunt him down. It'll shut that game down. And if he can't get the ball downfield, safeties are coming up, and now Moss is going to have trouble. I just think it's without the ability to take advantage of a well-maintained pocket is our kryptonite.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely it right now. And look, I still say there's a lot for Reed to gain, being his age, being not the starter through camp, still learning through live action. By the time that Texas game comes around, it could look a lot different, even if it's still Reed. But I totally agree that Connor gives you that path as soon as possible. So we'll see how it plays out, man. But Rich, I appreciate the call, man. I have to move on. You have a great night. Hope to hear from you soon.
Appreciate it. Oh, quick score prediction. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. I'm going the Aggies 31, Missouri 17.
Damn, 2 touchdown win. Hell yeah, Rich. I love it. All right, man.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. We have 2 Aggie win predictions. You don't have to predict today. We're going to go live again Thursday, but if you want to get it on the table, go for it. We allow that. All right, guys. Next caller. Running out of time here, so we're going to go through these a little bit quicker. But it's Theo. Theo, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, man?
I'm still supposed to be here Friday.
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Doing good, man. Just getting ready for the next big one. I mean, big opportunity this week. How you feeling?
I'm feeling like I did in 2020. Excited to see whatever happens. I mean, it's pretty much the same philosophy. Power, run, read, protect the ball, protect your defense. It kind of literally feels like the growing pains that we had to go through with Mond under Jimbo.
Yeah. The thing is, Mond was able to make you pay a little bit more through the air, but I think we can get to that with Reed. Do you feel like we can?
Not Mond. All right, so we remember the 2020 Mond that could make us pay in through the
Yes.
air. We forget the 2018 Mon and the 2019 Mon that was just as inconsistent
Oh yeah, I know.
as Marcel.
I'm
And
saying,
that's
can
gonna.
Marcel get to that?
Oh, Marcel can definitely get to Mon and probably even be better than Mon.
Do you think that
It's
can
just a
happen
matter.
soon, though? Do you think it can happen over the next few weeks?
No,
Yeah.
no. It's gonna take games. It's gonna take reps. It's gonna take years. A good year or two of being in the same system, and stuff like that. Because a lot of stuff that Klein wants to run, if you don't see it, even though it's there, if you don't see it and don't hit it, then it looks really, really bad. Um, for instance, when we went across the middle to Noah Thomas and he ran that dig route, well, if he had thrown that a little bit later and allowed Thomas to have a little bit room to clear the cornerback, then he may have had an easier throw.
And he had time to
Granted,
do it, I thought.
he did have time to do it, and not granted Thomas was PI'd with, and that's a whole different call. But it's still he had a little bit more time to give Thomas the ability to come out of that break and run away from the corner. But because he doesn't have the feel for that pocket yet, he doesn't know how to set his feet yet, and all those kind of things that come with reps and experience, he got antsy with the ball and threw the ball correctly. Should have been a PI.
Yeah.
Your deep throws. I told you during the game that I'm glad we're actually taking them. It felt like last week and the week before, we weren't, or against Notre Dame, we didn't want to take the deep shots.
Right.
And even if we're not hitting on the deep shots, taking them will scare defenses off.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is that one, which could have been the Nose Thomas fourth quarter PI, that he was tackled at the 16-yard line and should have had a walk-in touchdown.
Oh, the
Really close
uncatchable
to.
call, the instant no catch, uncatchable call. I rewatched it finally. So bad. It's uncatchable because the receiver is on the ground. That's why it's uncatchable. If the receiver is standing, Noah Thomas, 6'6" frame or whatever the hell he is. I mean, come on now. That was bad. I did feel like, and we talked about this, the refs were letting the plays just kind of go, but it just came up more on our side because I thought we were challenging it downfield more. They were doing the same for them. I mean, we got away with some stuff too. It just happened more for us because it came up more on our side of the ball.
I think what gets me is don't call the ticky-tack ones. Let them play through the ticky-tack ones. It's the blatant ones where you see a guy being draped over someone or you see a guy being tackled. That's the one that you have to call.
Yeah.
I don't, if they're hand fighting and they're playing up and down the field that way, that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't call that. But Trey Watson got tackled in the middle of a route. No, Thomas got tackled in the middle route. No, Thomas got held in the middle of a route. So it's like the obvious calls. Make the obvious calls. Same thing with like offensive line holding to me. I played offensive line. You played.
You cut out, but I did play offensive line. I think I got you back now.
There's holding on every single play.
Yep.
But the thing is don't let it be egregious. Like if you can clearly see that the jersey's being pulled and tucked and pulled away from a person and ripped, basically, then call that.
Yeah.
But if it's the guy has his hands inside the shoulder pads and he's driving his feet, okay, let it go.
Yeah.
But I think in general, this is. I've said it multiple times this year. I'm going to keep saying it. To me, this feels like 2018, 2019, and 2020 all over again. There's not going to be a game that we're not in it. There's not going to be a game that is going to be a massive blowout, especially in the SEC.
I mean, I would take it. but I want to win 9 games. That's where I am. Real quick thoughts defensively. I got to get through the calls. I do have to get out of here pretty quickly. Just give me your quick thoughts defensively, Theo.
Florida. But it's not. We're not going to put up.
Think I'm
these
losing
massive 50-point games.
Oh yeah.
You there?
Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts defensively. I have to move on here in a second because I'm running out of time. But what are your quick thoughts defensively where we're at on the year? We're falling apart, Theo. I think I have you back. Theo, last chance. Can you hear me? All right, we're going to move on. Theo, thanks for the call, man. I'm going to move on. Get to the last caller, Noble guy. Noble, sorry I couldn't make the tailgate, man. Was it a good time?
Oh, it was all good, dude. Hey, hard time. It's hard to link up on game day, but, we got the dub, and, I had a good time. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, how was Texas Live? It looked crazy when I was walking by.
Oh, dude. Yeah, Texas Live was awesome. Like, it's a great venue for, like, whenever if you don't want to pay, whatever amount tickets cost nowadays, AT&T. Yeah, it was a good time. And then it was really fun because there's a lot more banter between the A&M Arkansas fans inside Texas, inside the stadium. Everyone's pretty locked in the game. I like the game day experience but also getting the TV view as well.
Yeah, right. You see much better. Was it pretty chippy in there, or was it pretty orderly?
Oh, these Arkansas fans. I love it. Dude, they get every single year. It's the same movie. I have so many friends who are Arkansas friends, and they who went to Arkansas, and they
Me too.
They always, there's something they do something good enough in the first 3-4 games that makes them think like this is the year where we take down Texas A&M. And I'm like, I love that you think that. I want you to think that because we're going to turn the hopium into copium.
I know it. Every year it happens, man. Every year they're winning by 2 touchdowns, and I do feel for them, man. It's not been an easy life, and they're really passionate about their team. I respect that about them.
Pittman.
But man, Sam Pittman, they're getting fed up with Sam Pittman. I can't even repeat what some of my cousins were telling me about Sam Pittman. But anyway, how you feeling 5 games into the year? I got to keep it pretty quick because I do have to get out of here pretty soon.
Yeah, I'll do quick thoughts on it. But a lot of your audience was high ball IQ guys, so they covered most. One point I'll make, it's pretty much a reiteration of someone else's point. Marcel Reed is essentially A&M's version of Arch Manning for Texas. Everyone loves the backup quarterback. It's the new guy, the fast guy, all this and that. But then, with just like Texas, and I'm not going to say I'm not saying they're the same quarterbacks or even the same level. I'm just saying similar analogies. But I think Connor still offers the highest ceiling, as some of your callers have pointed out. Right now is a race between Wegman's shoulder injury and Reed's development. And the question is, does Reed's development ever overtake Connor's recovery? And then the question is, at that point, but even then, do you risk like the rest of the season trying to let your young quarterback develop, or you let your starter come back and take over? Here's the thing, though: how do you do it? Like, do you put in Connor like starting right away, or you just get Marcel go until like Connor's healthy? He's QB2, but then Marcel. I mean, let's say if Connor was healthy against Arkansas, he's probably playing third quarter. If I'm being honest, don't get me wrong. I love Marcel. What he can do, I love development. He's definitely getting better, and he's going to get better with every single rep in game. Is it fast enough to match? Because we're going up against some good offenses soon, and I love the optimism of a lot of your fans who keep predicting we're going to score 30 plus. We haven't scored over more than 28 points, I think, on offense this year yet, aside of McNeese State.
40 versus Florida.
Yeah, but that was a pick 6 in there too.
True.
And then, obviously, if you make some more field goals, it doesn't look like that. But the point is that we're not a prolific offense yet. We have that ability potentially, but it's going to take some more time development. But in the meantime, like I said this before, every single game is going to be a close battle. So buckle in. Theo said it great. It's going to be like similar to 2020, 2019. Hopefully, it's more like 2020 and 2019, where
Yeah.
we just grind teams out and then get them into fourth quarter and go from there. I think people need to give Colin Klein a break. I've seen a lot of over overzealous statements about, I mean, hey, you got a young quarterback. People just need to recalibrate their expectations on what offense is. And I think the defense is really getting there. I said that the key to the game would be to limit big plays because we're just going to keep leaking them out. But we only gave up essentially 3 big plays, and one of them was on special teams. And only one of them went for a touchdown as well.
Yeah.
After that, I think the defensive line is really starting to come in its own. Everyone thought the defensive unit would just be like, here's Mike Elko, here's players. We're top 5 defense from the get go. I think we might work our way up to that. It looks like we're starting to get there, but we don't start like that. It's a lot of new guys, new coach, new scheme, and so there's a lot of chemistry to be built, and it seems like we're trending in the right direction on that.
I would agree, and I'll make this one point about the offense unable to kind of break through that 30-point threshold. I don't know, and this might be ignorance. I'll have another answer for you when I post my Missouri video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Missouri has a defense as good as Arkansas's. I really don't. I'm really, I'm telling you, I was really not high on this defense going into the year after losing Blake Baker, several key position coaches, 8 starters. And, they really haven't been tested this year. When they have, it's been close games versus Boston College and versus Vandy. They've been pretty good stop in the past, but, I think A&M still has a chance to break through versus Missouri, versus Mississippi State, or even versus LSU, who has a bad defense in their own right. But all right, Noble, any closing thoughts? I do have to get out of here for the night.
No, you're good. Going to be a tight battle. Can't wait to watch the game film, make some score predictions for the next few. We'll see you all Thursday. Stay tuned.
All right, Noble. All right, guys, I see Christopher and Theo in the call-in room. I can't take y'all tonight. I do have to get out of here. I have a hard out right now. But if y'all call in Thursday, I will let Christopher and Theo cut the line. So if y'all want to call in Thursday, 7:30, y'all have a line cut. So as soon as I see y'all pop in there, y'all will get first calls on the next show. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We're at 54 viewers and 25 likes. Can we get those up to 40 before we get out of here? That would help me so much. To be continued. I have my Missouri pregame show coming out this week, and then I'll go live again Thursday night for the final say before we go into that Missouri game. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Gig 'em, y'all. Beat the hell out of the work week. See y'all soon.